My name is H.A. Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read all my writing on sports, politics, Bernie Sanders, a whole bunch of things, go to counterpropa.com. My latest article on Counterpropa is now also in the Huffington Post and is titled Enjoying President Trump, Blame Democrats for Cheating Bernie Sanders. I'm going to read you something right now. Please go ahead and share that article in Counterpropa and in the Huffington Post. I'm going to read you something right now that gets me upset. And it gets me upset because instead of focusing on policies, instead of looking in the mirror and saying, well, you cheated Bernie, you got President Trump, let's go ahead and break up too big to fail banks, reinstate Glass-Steagall. Well, he wants to do away with Glass-Steagall, but break up too big to fail banks, then you won't have to worry about doing away with Glass-Steagall. You can at least ensure that the same people who are now bigger in terms of corporations, the same too big to fail corporations, don't plunge the world economy and our economy, the US economy, into despair when they engage in the same reckless behavior. But no, you don't want to go ahead if you're a Democrat and break up too big to fail banks. You don't want to push for a single payer. You don't want to end perpetual counterinsurgency wars where half to two-thirds of all the Americans sent to the Middle East were killed or wounded by IED blasts. Republicans fear for their safety as Obamacare protests grow. This is Politico. I'm not making this up. This is insane. House Republicans during a closed-door meeting Tuesday discussed how to protect themselves and their staff from protesters storming town halls and offices in opposition to repealing Obamacare, sources in the room told Politico. If you had a single payer, or if you pushed for a single payer, even if it didn't work out, you wouldn't have this situation. If you didn't destroy the progressive base, if you didn't blame Bernie Bros, if you didn't call Bernie Sanders voters Bernie Bros, if you didn't try to disparage Jill Stein, if you didn't fracture the Democratic Party into this establishment versus truly progressive clash, you wouldn't have the situation. You'd have a grassroots base of support for the Affordable Care Act, where you wouldn't lose both houses of Congress. Maybe, definitely Clinton would have lost. Clinton did lose to Trump. If you put somebody else like Bernie Sanders against Trump, not only would he have defeated Trump, but Democrats were supposed to have won the Senate. You completely extinguished any enthusiasm, grassroots support, progressive fire or flame through correct the record trolls. Now you have a Republican Congress and president who are going to try to repeal Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, and now you're resorting to protests. You're resorting to so many protests that, because you don't stand for anything in terms of policies, you don't stand for anything in terms of ideals or value system, that now Republicans fear for their safety. But what if the tables were turned? What if it was Republicans who made Democratic lawmakers fear for their safety? What if it was Republican protesters? How would you like it then? You wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it either. I'd speak out against it. I'm pretty even-handed. When people say, "Oh, you focused on Hillary too much. That's why we lost." No, you lost because Hillary was under FBI criminal investigation, and we read her writing in the Podesta and WikiLeaks emails, and the DNC emails. We knew that Bernie was cheated, and we knew that her campaign was just disgusting. So, and you can't go ahead and run a person under FBI criminal investigation. But this is This is a Politico article. It is below. Share the article. Politico. Republicans fear for their safety as Obamacare protests grow. House Republicans during a closed-door meeting, I'll read it to you again, Tuesday discussed how to protect themselves and their staff from protesters storming town halls and offices in opposition to repealing Obamacare, sources in the room told Politico. What do I read today? That Debbie Wasserman Schultz's career is flourishing. Okay? Democrats haven't done anything. House GOP conference chairwoman, invited Chairwoman Kathy McMorris Rogers, invited Representative David Reichert a former police sheriff, to present lawmakers with protective measures they should have in place. Among the suggestions, have a physical exit strategy at town halls or a back door in congressional offices to slip out of in case demonstrations turn violent. Having local police monitor town halls, replacing any glass office door entrance with heavy doors and deadbolts. People think this is heroic. You know what's heroic? Not cheating Bernie Sanders. That's heroic. Making sure that when correct the record trolls attack and bully people online because they didn't like Hillary Clinton, the heroic thing wouldn't be to make Republicans fear for their lives, because you wouldn't like it if they did it to you, if the tables were turned. The heroic thing, or the cool thing, or the greatest resistance. I love this. When you must resist. How about focusing on the Voting Rights Amendment Act of 2015 that John Conyers introduced to Congress that nobody's talking about? How about banning fracking? How about opposing trade deals like the Trans-Pacific Partnership? How about actually saying something when water protectors are getting brutalized? Democrats don't. Establishment Democrats don't. How about if you're Senator Cory Booker not voting against affordable medication? They're the biggest bunch of hypocrites. They are the biggest bunch of hypocrites. And in terms of the big issues, they're just moderate Republicans. And I'm speaking about establishment Democrats. Give me your thoughts below. Republicans fear for their safety.